Hey guys, this is Fly Games back with another video tutorial on how to create a room escape game in Unity. Now, the reason I've been posting this is because I had some issues with my laptop, especially with the sound, and I couldn't do the recordings properly, so I had to stop this. But now I decided to buy a new PC and everything will be fine from now on, so I'm going to continue with this. So I actually tried to make a recording while I had my laptop, but it didn't work, so I am a few steps ahead. First of all, if you remember, we had a public class named drawWord and I named it to dynamicObject. And you can see what I write here. We have a publishing, UnlockItem, GameObject.ChangedStateSprite. That means that every dynamic object has a changed state. That means that when we interact with it, it changes the sprite, so it has a different look on the player. And this is this game object that we're using. And we also need access to the inventory because we will use items to interact with these objects. And here is the interact void because it inherits from the interface iInteractable, and the condition to interact with it is to have the specific item active in your inventory, or if the UnlockItem string is empty, that means that we do not need an item to interact with this object. Then we can interact with it and set active this sprite to true, so the player can see the changed state of this object, and we also clear the slot of the inventory, so we won't use this item anymore. So now let me show you an example of this, how it works. If I go to wall 4, I already placed it, but I will remove it. Just a moment to see. I have it here. I'm removing it, and if I go to sprites and I need to find the book chains. So I drop this into my scene, and in order to make this work, you need to have it the same size as the display image. Okay, so now you see that if I deactivate it, we are moving the book in the side, and that way we can actually find a hidden item behind it. So the drawer you see here and the key is from these walls. Don't need to see them for now, and we need to create an empty game object and call it will be wall 3, right? And we need to render it here and put this here, and now we need another game object, create empty. It will be, actually we don't need another, let's do a different one. We can have the box slider here in the same, but let's do this with a different one. So this will be the book interaction. Okay, and this is an interactable. It's box slider, and for now a box slider, put it here. I think it's fine, and put the dynamic object script and put the book change. Okay, yeah, so now that when we interact this, it activates this. So if we now put an item here, put an item, let's put what did I have here, which item, I think, okay, now remember, it was this paper. So I had a paper hidden here. Let's make it smaller. Whoop. Put it here. Right here, maybe. And put a voxel layer. It's interactable. And it's an object, it's an item actually, pick a variant. The display sprite, actually the property was displayable. It's not a combination item, and the display was, oh yeah, I think, yeah, it was displaying the paper shapes, this here. So I put them in the inventory items, and it's called paper shapes. Paper shapes. Paper shapes, yeah. So in the inventory we will see the paper shapes, and when we click we will see them in the displayer. Okay. Right. So this here. Wait. And maybe rotate it so it looks like it's lying down like this. Cool. And have this here, and we also need to put do you have this here? We also need to put no, it will be a zoom in object here, and let me tell that all my zoom in objects will have a z of -1, and that is because I want them to have the priority in the raycast, because first I need to zoom in the position I want to, in the point I want to zoom, and then interact with everything that lies in the zoom area. So first, the priority of the interaction would be the zoom in object first, and of course, because we've done some scripting, whenever we zoom in, the layer is set to ignore raycast, so there won't be any problem. Okay, so we will zoom in, and then we will change the book and take the item. Let's see if it works. So I go here, I zoom in, but nothing happens, and the wall 3 is, alright, this is wall 4. Go here, put the book in the side, take this and leave. And now I get these shapes that are combined with a different one, and they give me the symbols. Okay. So now that worked for the book, but for the drawer that we want to interact and open it is a quite different story. And that is because we need to use an item, and when we use an item we need to have access to these sides of the drawer. So when we open the drawer we will have a ChangedView point, and the sprite that we will display in the ChangedView will be this one, the open drawer. So if I delete, if I place it here, that's what we will get when we will open the drawer. So whenever we open the object with the key, we need to activate a ChangedView point and lead us to the insides of the drawer. So what we need is let's put it here, is a public, not public, wait a minute. Okay guys, I went ahead and did some things off camera that might sound useful to you or maybe not. So what I did is I scripted a customized editor. So I have this property here, so I think that tells me if the object is a simple interaction or an axis interaction. Simple interaction is an object, is a dynamic object like the book that we just click and we put the book aside. The axis interaction is another interaction like the drawer that we use an item to unlock it, and then it provides us with a game object that allows us the access to its content. So what I did is, with the script, I have this here that tells me if it is a simple interaction we do not need to add any other field. But when we have axis interaction, we have the UnlockItem and the axis object. So the way I did this was with an editor script that it's shown here, but because there is a lot to explain, I will just leave it in the comment section and maybe you will try it on your own. The name is dynamicObject.Editor. It inherits from editor, and it's a custom editor type of dynamic object. If you have this, it will automatically update the, actually if you write this void, the override void on OnInspectorGUI, it will automatically update your editor. So yeah, you can try that or not. It is actually optional. You don't necessarily have to do that, but if you don't, then you may have here, you have simple interaction and these two will pop up and you just don't have to fill them. Yeah. So now that we have this, we will go to wall 1 and in wall 1 we have the zoom in object here, and we also need a ChangedView point right here. Okay, ChangedView point. I will call this ChangedView point drawer 1 in order to differentiate this from this. Okay, so in start we will have this access object will be set to false, and when we unlock it, it will be activated. So access object set active to true. Okay, now that we have this is a changing point, right? So we need to give it sprite name, and the sprite name for this will be, go to the sprites here, it will be open drawer. Open drawer, and of course we need to drop this in the resources, and then create an empty game object, call it open drawer, and here go display image, go to the open drawer, deactivate this, and we can drop in a knife, I guess. Where was it? Inventory items, drop in the knife for now. It's interactable, has a box collider, pick up item, it is usable, knife. Cool, and let it, we rotate it a bit. Oh no. Here, like this. Okay, I put that here and put this here. I believe you understand all the procedure that I'm doing, because it is actually a repetition of other, I don't need this, of the previous things that we've done. Okay, so back this to world 1. Maybe I should have given better names for this. World 1, world 2, we could call this world front, world right, world back, or the drawer left, drawer right, but it will be fine. So, will this be enough? No. Activate this again, and now that we have this, the drawer, it is an axis interaction, and it needs to keep blue, and the axis object will be the, let's put this here, the axis object will be this. Okay, and after we interact with it, we need to set the layer of this transform to the layer of this game object actually to 0 to 2 actually, because when we interact with it, we don't want to interact again. We open it once and that's it. We don't need to open it multiple times. Will this work? I'm not sure, but let's test this out. So in order to open this drawer, we need this. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I actually had deleted this zoom in game object because it was outside of the wall one, and I thought it was nothing, but apparently we need to use this. So zoom in game object here, and you see what will happen now is when we get the key here, key blue, and we open the drawer and then we zoom in and try to access the drawer, we get a zoom image because we do not reset the zoom we have when we change the view. So we need to fix this thing, and it's quite simple. See here in the button handle class that when we return, we do this. When we return from the zoom, we set our camera size and position to the initial position. So that's exactly what we need to do when we change the view of our camera, in order to have a correct position and position and size of the camera after we zoom in and then we change the view. You get what I mean, I believe. Okay, so zoom object here. Okay, actually we need the change view. I will just copy it. So we need these things, put them here. We need the start method. Yeah, we need a start method. With the start method, we initialize the size of the camera and the position, and then we do this exact thing. I think this will work. So let's see. Go here, open this number lock, take the blue key, open the drawer, and then we get the knife. Okay, and now you see we directly jump into the content of the drawer before we zoom in. Yeah, we can fix this. So what I did is I simply went to on-click return, and when we return from zoom we set the layer again to 0 of the zoom objects, because when we zoom in we set the 2 in order to create layer cast. But we don't do this when we return from the display state, from the change view, because till now we didn't have an occasion where we zoom in and then directly change the view. So now, in order to do that, I created a private zoom in game object array, and in the start I find all the zoom in game objects. So when we return, I set the layer again to 0, and that's all. And I do this in the start method because when we change the view, because the other displays are not rendered, we cannot access this either way. So we need to do it in the start method. So now I think everything will be fine. We go here and we take the blue key, and then we go here and open, get the knife, and then when we return we need to zoom in first and then go inside it, and then we can go here and take, what happened? Wait a minute. Yeah, the thing is that when we have a simple interaction, we do not want to perform these actions, as you can see. So if the property is the symbol, just return. and nothing more. And also do this here. And one last thing is that I noticed that this was to access interaction, put a simple interaction. Also, you may want to change the sorting layers, the order actually of layers of the changed sprites, because if is on 0, sometimes they might not show when you interact with dynamic objects. And I also noticed that where was it? I accidentally deleted this, so I scripted back, and now I think everything will work fine. So we have two types of interactions. One is simple interaction, when we just click and change the state of this dynamic object that we interact, and the other is that we need an item in order to interact with. So that's it. There were some mistakes that I make, and I need to go back and redo things. So if you have any problems with this video, just write it in the comment section and I will solve every questions you might have. So this is for today. Thanks for watching, and we will continue soon. Bye guys.